it's Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. And I just got home and Bentley hasn't seen me, so he's wanting a little attention. Can you excuse me, please? You're right in the way. Can you go? Go on. Go on. Go. 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 Okay. All right. So the other day, I tackled this quadricolor. Many of you noticed that there were still a couple of runners sticking out. I took care of those this morning. And as I was taking care of those runners, I'm not happy with this. I know I said the other day that, oh, well, we'll just let this ride, but I'm not going to let this ride. This is a hot mess. It just looks like crap. So let's deal with it. This sedum right here, I can take and cut all of these wonderful pieces and I can reset because it's just getting woody. I can see dirt. It's overgrown. It doesn't look intentional anymore. And that's your gold standard. That's what you're looking for in your own gardens. Use a critical eye and say, hey, does this look intentional? Does this look as good or better as when I installed it? And if the answer is no, then it's time to get your clippers and go to work. So you can pull the plant out and then cut it up for parts, or you can cut it up for parts and then pull the plant out. It really doesn't matter. I like doing it this way. I'm just looking for rosettes right now. And for those of you, where these succulent plants are a real premium and they're hard to come by, you can propagate all of these leaves too.
You can also replant the whole thing and just wait for
Yes, or you could take, this ugly hacked up plant and put it over in your garden of death and wait for regeneration. Or if you really have tremendous patience and you don't mind things looking scrubby, you could even leave it here and wait for it to regenerate. So you've got options, friends. But you know me, I like everything to look good all the time. So this is my preferred method. All right, now that I've cut off all the pretty parts, I'm going to pull this out. Shaking off the dirt. Set this aside. Clean up the detritus here. Man, you're on the right track when it looks better empty than it did planted, right? All right. Then I'm seeing I still have some here that I need to take out. I'm thinking that I really want to leave this platyphylla, this crassula, where it's at because it's still pretty tight. It doesn't look leggy yet, so I think we can leave that alone and just go after all of this leggy stuff. It looks like I've got an Echeveria harmsii in here too. Who knew? Boy, somebody's dog is unhappy. I think the neighbors 2 doors down that way got a dog recently because there's just been a lot of extra barking lately. Okay, so sorry about that. All right, this Echeveria harmsii, here's the plant. You tell me, guys, is that worth saving? I don't think so. Not on my watch.
What's your saying?
What's my rule for myself? If it's more than 50% gone, throw it away. But that's me. Don't hate me for saying that. You do you. All right, now this rubrotinctum, this sedum, this is also looking really, really woody and really leggy. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to cut off a lot of these pieces and reset them. I love this plant. There's a variety called Aurora, and this might even be it. It's just very green right now because it's gotten a lot of shade and the temps have cooled down, and it's, basically I've spoiled this plant, so it's not inspired to turn colors. But the Aurora, when stressed, is the most beautiful shades of pinks and creams. So pretty. The regular rubrotinctum turns more red and orange, which is also lovely. Oh my my gosh. Comment also if you remember Roberto, the succulent alligator. If those of you, you're really dating yourselves if you remember that. That was one of the first things that I made with succulent cuttings. It was a giant alligator frame. I used so many rubber on Roberto. So this plant will always have kind of I'll always have a fondness for it. Because every time I work with it, I think about those days, those early days when I was
really well as cuttings.
just getting started. And yes, Hannah says they do really well as cuttings, and they really do. They throw off little air roots and tend to just thrive. Okay, this little rubber-tinctum, ugh, so woody. Yuck, 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 yuck. Don't like that. Oh, I found another runner under the aloe vera ball. Well, that was rewarding. Oh, and another snail carcass. Goodness sakes, it's like an Easter egg hunt in here. So you just keep going, you know, as deep and as far and as wide as you want. You cannot go wrong with bringing intention back to your garden spaces. That's a really beautiful sedum right there. Nice and fat. Okay. There we go. I have yanked out all of the crap, and we are ready to reset. I did not see any evidence of pests or disease in any of these plants, so there's nothing to treat or to concern myself with in that regard. These little jelly beans, as they're called, also work really well as propagates. And each one of these little beans has the potential to throw off a little baby plant if you want to give that a try. Look at all those hair roots. Okay, doke. Okay, a little trick of the trade when you're resetting cuttings is to put your rock top dressing down first. This is so much easier than trying to work top dressing around those brand new little plants that, you know, haven't established themselves yet. So it's really hard to get underneath them and around them without disturbing them. So I'm just going to take and dump my little black pebbles. I went, okay, thank you. Go, 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 go. Nobody, no, don't step on mommy's plants. Go. Okay. I went about an inch deep with that top dressing, and now for the fun part. You're just going to take your cuttings and you're going to start sticking them in the ground like candles in a birthday cake. I've got this Crassula ovata Gollum jade. I'm going to throw that in first because I know that's going to get taller, where these little sedums and grapta varias are going to stay a little lower profile. Then I'm just going to pop these in all around in any configuration that suits me. Remember, if your succulent stands up, you have done your job. And remember, the reason I'm doing this is because it is mid-October in Southern California. We're in Indian summer. The temperatures aren't slated to go above 70 degrees. We won't be getting any real cold snaps until after the first of the year. So this is the perfect time to manipulate and work with these plants. We've got nice, warm, balmy days, cool but not cold nights. The days are getting shorter, less stress on the plants. It's just a really phenomenal time to work with them. So see, already this is looking a lot more intentional than it did before. And I'm limbing this up just to expose a little bit of trunk, so I've got a little bit more plant with which to set in the ground. I think now I'll work in some of the rubbertinctum. I'd like to see those more front and center, since this is a smaller, more diminutive plant. And you pack them in really close. Remember, we want instant gratification. And succulents, unlike most other plants, enjoy some good old-fashioned root competition, don't they? I wanted also to take a minute to thank you guys for your wonderful support in the store. I got the cutest picture the other day from a follower in Jerusalem wearing her Every Garden Needs a Phallus shirt and showing off her favorite garden phallus. I can't tell you what a kick I get out of that. And just, all of you that are sending me photos on Instagram at Laura Loves Succulents of your work and telling me your stories about how you came to be so in love with these plants. It just makes my life so rich. All of you, you give me so much, and I thank you and I appreciate all of you. So I'm adding some rubbertinctum in amongst the sedums because I just like that look. I like it to look a little less intentional, if you know what I mean. If you prefer a more, I guess I should say, dignified look, if you like something that looks a little more formal, you can absolutely do that too. You can put your plants in any configuration that you desire. If it looks good to you, then it's good. Ooh, this is a big one, so I'm going to stick this one back here in the back because it's so tall. And then the question is, how far do I want to take this? I have all these great cuttings. Do I want to go back up behind the ball and kind of head toward my crested fret ives? Clearly I do, because that's what I'm doing. And then be thinking too about, how these plants are going to grow out over the next couple of months. It's going to take a few weeks for them to reestablish a root system. So I'm not going to intentionally throw water on these plants. They will get plenty from their leaves and stems. But once they've started to root, I can start sprinkling them gently again. And I know from experience that when working with cuttings, I'm going to be good. Maybe I'll throw one in here amongst this platyphylla, because now that I've reset all the others, now the platyphylla is looking kind of shabby. I'm rethinking it, but not rethinking it to the extent where I'm going to do anything about it. I think if I just pop in some of these cuttings amongst it, it will really go a long way.
Right there.
Right in here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's a tall one. Here. One there.
Nice.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see how when you move the plants in amongst each other, you let them get real up close and personal with each other, how pretty that looks. And, I'm not married to just this one type of rock. This is a little black creva. It's pretty, but I might want to bring in, some slightly larger stones. You can even mix, burgundy lava in with it. I'm really into making my own mixes right now with rock, creating my own palettes by taking different types and mixing them together. That's what I did up in LA in Claremont around the fountain, is I took a couple of different kinds of rocks and mixed them together to create my own look. I really liked that. Oh my gosh, the cuttings, they just go on and on and on and on. This is so fun. You have to go out and do this, you guys. I know that you've got a pot on your balcony or a section in your garden that's screaming to be reset. I promise you will have so much fun. Just make sure, you check the weather forecast, and don't do this if the temperatures are going to get really hot over the next couple of weeks, are forecasted to get too warm. Make sure that everything's going to stay mild. Give these babies a chance. And if they burn, if you make a mistake or the weatherman lies, no worries. Sunburning is just cosmetic. They'll come out of it. Okay, I feel like I'm done with this. I feel like I've used everything. Here's a little Harmsii. See how I added some sedum in there amongst the rubrotinctum? I personally just like that look a little better. To me, I just like that. So, and you know what? If you do something and you don't like it, pull it out and start over. There's nobody stopping you. Nothing's saying that you have to be married to your first attempt. So this might go through some more iterations before I'm done. But for now, I've got to get to the grocery store, so I'm gonna step away from it. And that's a good idea too. You know, step away, come back the next day, take a look. You might be inspired if things just aren't looking quite right to you. Always know that you can always make edits. Okay, I hope this has been inspiring. I hope that this has been helpful, and I hope that I have motivated you to get out into your own gardens and make some magic for yourself. Be sure and check out the store. We've got some really exciting new merch for you to take a look at and purchase. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking, and sharing this video. This has been Laura Eubanks of Design for Serenity with your succulent tip of the day. Bye, guys.